Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
If I were to say you can have anything you want in life, anything, what would you say? You'd probably say, how's that even possible? Anything? Seriously? Come on. It's something called manifestation that can bring it to you, attract it to your life. Can it be anything? I'm not going to say no. I don't know. It could be, depending on how you manifest it. And many people have said it before. I've spoken personally to people that have manifested certain things and received them. I'll give you examples. I believe them. I'm close to them. It's worked for them. Same thing with who we've got with us today. She is a spiritual coach, life coach. She's also a hypnotherapist and does great retreats where she can help you manifest and learn this and so much more. Rhea Maceris is back with us. Welcome. How are you?
It's great to be here, Steve.
I am a student of manifestation. I've been trying to learn more. I've recognized that it does work by reverse engineering it unintentionally, because here's the thing. I used to think certain things in my life and I would say them out loud. My position in a relationship. I feel like I'm blank in this relationship. Did I really feel that way? Maybe, but I'm not really sure. I would say other things that weren't totally supporting in life, not the horrible stuff, but it was just like, yeah, this is what I think. All of that stuff came true. And I believe I brought it to myself by saying those things, thinking those things, believing those things. And I've also manifested in the recent year, certain things that were so perfect, except for this. And this was a big thing, but I truly believe I didn't clearly manifest it. Or I said, I don't want that as part of this. And it was a negative, what I was saying. I don't want this as part of that. I got that. And lots of it. And again, the universe of manifesting and all of this has to be on a positive side. So I should have reframed it or reworded it in terms of what I did want, asking for what I wanted. And, give an example. You meet somebody that's got certain challenges. So you say, I don't want to meet somebody that has anger. Pick anything. Has anger, they're always getting angry. They have issues with anger. Well, instead of saying, I don't want that, because you're probably going to end up with it, reframe it to, I want somebody who is even-minded, emotionally available, however you want to phrase it. That's what I've learned so far. Still studying it. Enlighten us, please, Rhea.
Well, I like that you mentioned the discernment of not putting it out, I don't want, because interestingly, the unconscious doesn't hear the not. So actually, you are probably going to be creating that just from that, using that line of thinking. And so looking at it from let's look at it like different steps. The first step is actually believing that it's possible. Believing that anything is possible, because if you can be trying to manifest all day, but even emphasis on the word trying, if you're not really believing it can happen, well, guess what? That's the power of your thoughts and your beliefs as well. So it's opening up your mind to realize and believe that, yes, there's magic everywhere. And we're talking about playing with the magic, essentially. So that's the very first part of it, is opening up your mind to believe that, yes, you can live your dreams. You can manifest the life that you want. And then so then the next part would be to get really clear on what it is that you want. Because I find it interesting that in our culture, and maybe perhaps the way we're raised, it's really easy to discern, I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't want this. Well, let's look at it. What do you really want? And sometimes when I even ask clients that, they have that moment of, oh my gosh, they're not even certain. They're not even sure, because they haven't really, first of all, allowed themselves to believe they can really have what they want. They can really have their dreams and desires. So it's that discernment as well. So even just getting really clear on what is it that you want. right?
I feel I'm far from perfect, but in my journey, I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty confident I know what I want.
Well, yay. That's
Y-
awesome. And
I guess
that's
I'm
necessary, right?
I guess I'm halfway there. If you asked me, I don't know, 5 years ago, it would be different. It would definitely be different than it is now. But things happen and you go in a different direction, and your journey takes you here. So to me, it's clear. And maybe this is crazy, but those things that I want, and it's not like I want $1 million. No. Yeah, that'd be great, but is it practical, and would it really support you properly? Is it really going to be everything that you think it is? $5 million, whatever. Um, I believe whatever I would manifest or want to manifest or have, it's there. I can feel it. Like it's coming to me. I know maybe it sounds kind of hokey, but I truly believe it. It's like that's coming my way, and it's going to be soon. That over there, yeah, that's another one right there. There might be something over here. I'm hoping that it's going to turn the way I want it to, but I'm not 100% sure, just because it involves other people, whatever it might be. But that's what I feel. And in my studying a manifestation, you need to believe it, like really believe it.
Yes. And I like how you said it's coming to me, because it's not about a forcing or trying to make something happen. It's almost as if, say, for example, you're wanting a new job, for example. The letting go of the job that you're in currently, or so it's almost like allowing that space for something new to come in. So it's in a receiving mode. It's not trying or forcing or anything. It's literally opening up the space energetically and allowing it to come. And,
Mm,
another, so part of what I do with my clients is, when we create the belief and create the desire that they're wishing, I actually do inner journeys with them and take them to, like, for example, I had a client just yesterday, or 2 days ago anyway. She came in and she's wanting to buy this studio space to create her dream of having a fitness center. And so we actually did an inner journey, and I actually took her, she went to the door and opened the door, had all the feelings that she's already walking into the lobby and seeing the space and feeling the space. And so she's actually feeling and living as if she's already buying it and purchasing it. And so
yeah.
again, so we already had the belief that it can happen. She knew her desired outcome. So it's allowing it to come to her energetically and creating the space for it and
I want
feeling.
it and feeling it. Yeah, you have to feel it. I think
Yes,
that's key.
yes.
Examples of how this works. I know somebody who is legit, very grounded. So a little bit of intuition. Works in the life coach area, and she wanted a brand new Tesla, and one that's about 55,000. Didn't have the money for it. Just believed it's coming my way. In a short period of time, through manifesting it, she bought it cash. And she wasn't lying. I said, how? She goes, I just believed it. And I somehow worked my way to it through just manifesting it. I'm like, worked your way. It was a lot of work. She goes, no, not at all. Just eventually I had enough money, probably, I don't know, 5 months, something like that. It sounded like, in the time frame. And now she's got it. Exact one that she wanted too. Same color.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And so another piece to this equation, Steve, is um, again, believing it, being clear on your desires, and then putting the intention out. And this is can be the tricky
Mm,
part, is not allowing the doubts
yeah.
come in, or the what ifs, or the fears, so to speak, because that energetically can shift it. And I think that probably, in my learning and my watching and manifesting in my life, I'm realizing that that was the place where I probably required the most attention, not to let the negative talk come in, not to let the negative judge and or critic, whatever you want to call that, and
Right.
really staying in the belief. and the appreciation and the feelings of art as if you already have it. That to me is the trickiest. And when it happens, it's so exciting. Like I can give a simple example. This sounds so mundane, but I was vacuuming my floor a couple years ago, and my vacuum cleaner just stopped working. I thought, okay, well, I need a new vacuum. Didn't really even think anything else about it. Walked down the street, turned the corner to this incredible garage sale, brand new vacuum cleaner sitting there for like $10 or something. It was perfect. It was exactly what I needed because I put the intention out, then I literally forgot about it and it just showed up. And that's obviously just a small example, but that just shows the power of putting that intention out and being really clear about what you want.
You brought back a memory. Wow, this goes back probably 24 years. And I remember I needed to buy my daughter at the time a new monitor. And I didn't have a ton of money, at that point. Things were changing or whatever. I was like, I need money to buy her a monitor. Like universe help me. And this is out before I even knew about any of this stuff. I am not kidding. I went to the store, looked down on the ground, there was $100 bill. And I forgot about it until you said it. But I just believe that, yes, I deserve to buy her a better monitor so that she can see and learn and enjoy games and all of that. And it was coming from a good place. It wasn't like, I should have a monitor. No, I need it for my kid. It would be great if she had one. When we talk about the doubt, how do you do it? Let's say you want to manifest the perfect partner and you believe they're going to show up, they're going to be here, whatever it might be. Instead of saying, and you put it out into the universe, instead of saying, when are they going to show up? Like, how is it going to take any longer? But right away, you're derailing everything you've done, all the groundwork, excuse me, anything you planted, the seed you planted, right? When you do that.
I agree because that even that tone you used was doubting, right? And so another wonderful piece to this is taking advantage of our inner world. Call it meditating, praying, whatever you want to call it, but literally. So speaking of the $100 bill scenario, I can give an example just recently where each morning when I meditate, it's all personalized depending on what I'm hoping to achieve or find or create or manifest. So I was doing a manifestation meditation where I get into this really high vibrational place and I just imagine money coming in from all directions. And it has been popping up in the most random places. People are tipping me like unusually so. I mean, it happens occasionally, but it happened like 4 times. And so I'm in it. And then these random checks came in from different places I would have not even imagined. And it just shows how when we put it out, it's letting it go and trusting it, which is such a big part of it. And just letting it happen. But start your day with the intention, what do you want? And feel as if you already have it, and then just watch the magic happen. It's so
How
cool.
often do you have to do it? So should you do it once very strongly, very effectively? Maybe it's a meditation. This is what I'm looking for. I believe it's coming my way. I believe I deserve it. It's for the greater good. And then just let it go. And then that's it. Don't come back to it. Or should you repeat the process again? When I say that, none of this, when are you going to get here? No, it's all in a positive way. I'm going to have another meditation of whatever it is, that Tesla. I love this. I love the screen on the Tesla. It's got there's a lot of things you can do with it. And wow, I'm going to have fun with that when it gets here. It's going to be soon. Should you repeat it often?
Well, that's a really good question. I think it's obviously a very personal journey. Sure. What I do want to look at part of the verbiage that you used that I found interesting, that when you said, I deserve it. Yes, that makes sense. And absolutely, you deserve it. And it's feeling the value.
Yes.
Feeling the value of it. And it's not even a discernment of that you deserve it. It's feeling the value that within yourself, which is your truth. And so as far as how many times to do it, I don't think there's such a thing as too many times, honestly, because
Okay.
you're just keeping the idea alive. You're keeping the vibration alive. If you're doing it because you're doubting, that's a different story. If you're like,
Gotcha.
oh my gosh, I'm not trusting this, then go back in, revisit, recreate it, and again, just keep believing it. And
We're
then
all
watch
in.
when it happens, then that's the perfect time. Thank you, more please. It's really appreciating it and
Yeah.
seeing it. It's like seeing when you're wishing for more gratitude, the more you see the gratitude, the more gratitude you see in your life.
I think that's key. And most of us don't do that. Uh, Thanking the universe for bringing it to me. Right.
More please. Yeah.
More, please. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I, have you ever heard of Project 369?
No.
Okay. Um, I came across this book. I'm reading it now. It's a manifestation journal. And I'm not up to the point of what the 369 is, but loosely here, it's in the morning, you manifest 3 times, midday 6 times, 9 times in the evening. And you can also do it in the form of gratitude as well. 369. Somehow, not up to that page yet, it's connected to Nikolai Tesla, who was pioneer genius when it comes to energy. And there's a formula that runs deep, which is way out of my wheelhouse. I don't do numbers, where he cracked the code, so to speak, 100 and something years ago for all of his experiments. There was no electricity, there was nothing. He harnessed the power of the sun and all of that and made the Tesla coil. Uh, Again, I'm talking about Tesla. That has nothing to do with the car, but
Yeah.
it does
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it does run on electric. But the book is about Tesla. It is his principle, and then it's wrapped around manifestation. So there is some kind of formula there to help you along with it, and it's a journal. You can write stuff in it, things you're grateful for, and such. But I was curious if you've ever heard of it. Um,
So did I hear you say 3 times you meditate and then 6 and then 9 in one
Three
day?
times you manifest. So, and again, I don't know the full principle here, but um, the 369 is, I think it's also gratitude. So you share your gratitude 3 times in the morning, 6 times lunchtime, 9 times before you go to bed. And the
Well,
369, there's a
hmm.
formula that runs even way deeper. Like I looked at some of the how they add up all the numbers, and I'm like, well, how? Well, I don't need to know that, but it's cool to look at. But there is something. They break it down to a very simpler form of 369, and that's what he did, and that's how he succeeded in all of this. And what does it come back to? Energy. It's all about energy. He was all about
Absolutely.
energy. That's how he figured out all of this scalar light and all of this stuff that he did without having, like, you look at the coil, the huge thing that he built. How do you do that? There was no electric. There wasn't a power line coming in. It wasn't invented by that time, but he figured it out. Side note, where I live, I'm about 25 minutes away from where he did all the experiments. There's a museum there.
Really?
Yeah, and I got to get over there. It's a coincidence that he's part of this book. I didn't even know till I picked up the book and I'm like, oh, Nikolai Tesla. How interesting. But it comes back to this whole thing that we always talk about, energy. And what is manifesting? You're putting energy out into the universe, right?
Yes. And another piece that's really significant with that, by the way, 3, 6, and 9 are very powerful numbers. I find that
Okay.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Not that I understand the gist of what they're
And
powerful.
I'm only 12 pages in, so I'm the worst person to ask the questions of, but interesting book, about what we're talking about.
Definitely. Yeah. And it does come down to energy. Everything is energy. And so part of it also, which we have spoken about in the past, Steve, is in order to change your life, it's being in those higher vibrational feelings, the gratitude, the acceptance, the appreciation. Again, more please, thank you. And so it's when you're in those areas, it's easier to stay away from the doubt and the wonderment of, is this really gonna happen? So it's choosing that which feels good, and that's how we manifest.
It's like if you had $1,000 and you say, I'm going to give that to somebody. I'm going to hand it to them. I have extra. I'm just giving it to them. And there's two people. And one person is wonderful, positive, loving, high vibration. And this person over here has a face on. They're negative. They're just, wow. Yeah. Who are you going to give it to?
Precisely.
So that 1,000 is coming from the universe. I'm the universe. I want to give it to, let me give it to this person over here because I know they're going to do good with it, whatever it is, for themselves, for others, whatever. This person over here is miserable and maybe they deserve it even more, but they don't have the right mindset. So why would you want it? You don't know where it's going to go,
That's a
based
perfect
on
example,
what
and
you're
that's a
getting.
perfect way to look at it. Yeah.
So you
So
raise
be
up
that
your
kind, loving
energy,
person.
right? Raise up the energy, raise up the vibration, but it is a mindset. It isn't easy to change your mindset to a more positive, loving feel. And when I say loving, it's, loving yourself as well, right?
And that's why when I work with people virtually, I meet with them consistently. Usually it's every week to reinforce these ideas, to reinforce it's a practice. I even give homework so that when we're not meeting, they're still watching their talk. They're shifting it to positive, because being aware of what's going on within, what your thoughts are. I mean, spend some time just watching what you're telling yourself. Most people are amazed how they speak to themselves until they bring some awareness, some desire to change it. So even noticing that and then shifting it to the positive, to the all day long. I mean, sometimes it's an all day event,
Mm.
but it's so worth it because the outcome is finding and living the dream life that you wish.
And it's the domino effect too, because you got to continually do it on and on and on.
Yes. Yeah.
You could open your door, look out around your neighborhood and see some people in your neighborhood. It's like, oh, there's Jimmy. What a pain. Like, what a jerk, man. Okay, you may not like that person, but taking that mindset, and you've been doing it for years, so sometimes you don't even know you're doing it when you judge that person like, and then flip it around. It's a habitual thing. You can't just fix one thing without fixing all the other stuff around you.
Yeah, and even referring to the idea of energy, what we're really talking about in the manifesting process is neuroplasticity, literally rewiring our brains to positive, to loving, to kindness. So it's more, because I believe that's naturally who we are. The fear and the doubt, that's all things that we learned for survival as a child. And we make these walls and protection around us. And so to even say it's easier is true. It's easier to naturally be in our higher vibrational self because that's more the truth of who we are. It's a practice. It's like building a muscle. It doesn't happen overnight that you
Sure.
can, jump 50 yards or whatever, hypothetically. But it literally is because you deserve it. It's one of the best, I believe, one of the best gifts we can give ourselves.
Totally.
Spend that time within, find it, and then create your dream life.
And after a while, you don't even know you're doing it because you're just accustomed to being more positive. Uh, Not
Yes.
to say that negative things won't come up. They will. It happens. It's called life.
Life happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you believe, your final question here, do you believe that we are spiritual beings in a human vessel or humans living a spiritual life?
I believe we are spiritual beings, experience and learning how to navigate the human experience. That this is like schooling here. But our natural soulfulness is on the other side, and that's where I believe our home is. So we're here learning how to do this. So let's learn how to do it. Right?
And the more I study it and talk to you, that's what I feel. And that was in the book that I'm referring to. And this thing here And that thing there, you, me, it's just a container for your spirit, but your spirit is so much bigger. Unfortunately, your beliefs, limiting beliefs, all that other stuff is keeping you inside this container and not allowing you to radiate it out. And for that, there's you. Really, to recognize where you could go and what you can do. What's your website, Rhea?
My website is imaginegetaways.com. It's under construction right now. However, you can also text me in the meantime if you wish, and we can set up a discovery call and see if it's a good fit.
Yeah. And I always say, when we say Imagine Getaways, you do retreats in Sedona, Arizona. Some of them can be done virtually. So that's, one part of what you do, but it's just a piece of what you do. There's so much more going on. And then I look at it this way. Imagine getting away from the life you live now and getting to the one that you should be living.
To reimagine who you want to be. Yes.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that through manifestation and so many other things. Even hypnotherapy. That's another thing that you do that can help you realize that.
Yes.
Good talk today. I'm glad we skimmed this topic once before, but delve deeper into it today, and super cool, very positive.
Yeah, and I'm curious what you think of that book. If it's worthy, let me know.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Got to get into it. Got to get into it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. Have a wonderful weekend.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.